Hello everyone. Today we shall continue our discussion on the chief characteristics of Coleridge's poetry. We have already discussed two of the important features of Coleridge's poetry, that is supernaturalism and the element of mystery and the love of nature. So today we shall look into few more. Coleridge was gifted with a high imaginative power, and his imagination was the most creative among all the Romantic poets. It was because of his rich imaginative faculty that he was able to create a mystic world of dreams. And as far as the imaginative faculty is concerned, Coleridge surpassed Wordsworth. Wordsworth was too conscientious to describe or present things that were not seen by him. Coleridge, on the other hand, was able to describe and present those things which he came across during his vast study through his faculty of imagination. So Coleridge, through his imagination, presented the unseen and inexperienced things so vividly as if those had been literally present before his eyes. So, when we look at his poem Kubla Khan, then we find that he presents the place of Kubla Khan's palace as if he was practically present there. And he sets imagination on fire, and we can have a vivid picture of Kubla Khan's pleasure dome before us. So, Coleridge, he could he had the skill to create an imaginary world and then transform it to a make-believe condition. His poems, Ancient Mariner, Christabel, and Kubla Khan, are the best examples of his high imaginative faculty. These poems illustrate how Coleridge's imagination could transform the simple facts collected during his study or during his study into something mysterious and wonderful. Coleridge showed a great interest in medievalism, and his love for a supernatural led him to the exploration of Middle Ages. He was the pioneer in the psychological and artistic handling of the Middle Ages. He was fascinated by the romance and legends associated with the Middle Ages, and all his major poems were written with the glamour and the color of the Middle Ages. And the Middle Ages provided a very appropriate period for his poems, which contained supernatural and mysterious events rich in romance. So, medievalism, however, did not form the substance of his poem. It gave them the much needed sense of remoteness and offered a setting for the marvelous, which was Coleridge's purpose to hint at. So, Coleridge aroused the sense of supernatural mystery by taking the imagination to some distant unknown place, especially the Middle Ages. Coleridge's love of humanity is well expressed in his poems, and the best example would be the moral of the Ancient Mariner when he says, quote, "He prayeth well who loveth well both man and bird and beast." Unquote. Coleridge, like Wordsworth, supported the French Revolution, and he hoped that it would lead to the freedom of the masses from the tyranny of the dictators. But The Reign of Terror and the emergence of Napoleon disappointed him, and his revolutionary enthusiasm cooled. Coleridge's feeling about revolution, both his earlier enthusiasm and his later disillusionment, are well expressed in his two odes, Ode on the Departing Year and France and Ode. In humanitarianism and enthusiasm for the spirit of the French Revolution, Coleridge was a great representative of the Romantic age. Coleridge was a great singer. He was gifted with metrical art, and according to a critic, he showed greater sensitiveness to music than any English poet except Milton. Swinburne, who was a master of verse himself, felt the magic of Coleridge's lyrics, and Shelley described his ode as the finest ode of English language. So Coleridge, he created music by the skillful manipulation of vowel sounds and by selecting words and phrases for their sound value and skillfully handling the meters. The metrical art of Coleridge is best revealed in his poems like The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Christabel, Kubla Khan, Youth and Age. He employed the old ballad meter with great artistic skill, and the internal rhyme, the alliterative effect, the ballad habit of repetition in the lines of his poems is noteworthy. Coleridge also used archaic words in order to preserve the medieval atmosphere. Rickett writes about Coleridge that uh, there is a simple beauty of old ballad in his poems with none of its extravagances. And Coleridge, he blends the modern spirit with medievalism and so as to convey a more moving magic to the readers today. His poems like Christabel, Kubla Khan, etc. are largely known due to their wonderful music. And as a metrical artist, Coleridge is unsurpassable. The musical quality in his poems puts the readers into a hypnotic spell. Coleridge was superb in the art of storytelling and he excelled in narration. He knew how to create suspense or to evoke interest in the narration. He mastered this art by mixing up ideas, techniques, and events, and by doing so, he made a straightforward story into a masterpiece of art and literature. He introduced the events dramatically and he had the skill to arouse curiosity. Coleridge had written many a narrative ballad, but The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the best example to understand his narrative skill, and this work of Coleridge describes his superior art of narration.